Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the A Bit of AI show. In the A Bit of AI show, we talk with people from all over the world about their careers in AI. We will talk about what they studied, what they're currently working on, and how did they get to this point in their career. Today, I'm talking to Amy Boyd about her life in AI. Hey Amy, good afternoon or good
Hey
morning
Henk,
still.
how you doing? How's things?
I'm doing well, I'm doing well. How about you?
Very good, very good. You know me, always talking about the weather, and it's actually sunny here where we're recording this right now from the UK. So yeah, very nice time of the year. Excited for the spring summer.
We normally host the show together, but now you're here as a guest.
That's exciting. I was very honoured when you messaged me on Teams and was like, "Hey, do you want to be a guest?" And I was like, "Yes, this is what I've wanted all along, Hank." No, no, I'm joking.
Yeah, recently we also talked about we talk to all the guests, but nobody knows anything about us. So today it is Amy's turn, and we're gonna get to know her. Let's get started. And can you introduce yourself and tell me who you are and what you do at Microsoft?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, hi everyone. My name's Amy Boyd. I'm something called a cloud advocate here at Microsoft. So, I get super excited and passionate about AI and machine learning technologies. And then the idea, I see it as like a pay it forward job. You learn something, you tell a story of a technology, you build a project, and then you share it with people so that they can understand and build something for themselves. I also lead a team within our advocacy org called the Scalable Content Team here at Microsoft. And we're all about scaling experiences and tooling through experimentation and implementing these different things in order to help content creators. So someone like myself or someone like you, Hank, in order to be able to reach the world, which now being online is a really interesting thing to work on.
So we're all here to get to know you. So can you tell something to the audience, something we don't know about you?
This is a pretty hard one. Like, I'm a pretty open book, right? I'll always kind of share different things about myself, or I'll incorporate my personal life into a lot of tech demos, it feels like. But one thing I thought would be a fun one to share in my personal life very quickly, I got very, very into gardening. I'm like, I don't know where that's comes from, especially during the pandemic and kind of having that time to watch things grow and like build an oasis that's outside and kind of be around nature. It's quite the opposite, I think, to being in tech where, you sit in front of a screen quite a lot and stuff like that. So maybe it's kind of my break, and yet I still get to build something. I wonder if there's some kind of connection there. But professionally, recently, I realized something about kind of a lot about who I am, which is when my personal life kind of crossed with my professional life around learning. So me and my husband, Andy, were in kind of an academic environment, an environment where we needed to learn stuff pretty quickly. So we went to kind of some classes, and I don't think we've been in that setting, me and him together, for a really long time. And so he was like, "You're such a Lisa Simpson." Now, for anyone who doesn't watch The Simpsons, Lisa's very academic. She's very keen about learning. She likes to achieve things and stuff like that. She's a bit of a geek. She's a bit of a nerd, and I couldn't agree more with him in some senses. He was just like, "You're so keen about learning." Like, it's just really, really strange. And he's absolutely right. Like, I do just love to learn new things. And I used to think it was about academic achievement. I used to think it was about technical topics, but it's not. It's actually anything, anything that sparks a conversation, a good book, an interesting podcast, learning a new skill. But tech gives you that, and I think that's why I'm in the profession that I'm in. It's because we always have to learn. You can't stand still with tech. So yeah, I've there we go. I thought I'd share something that I've learned about myself more recently as well.
I remember one of your first tech demos, or at least when I started to know you, was something with custom vision and closes.
Yes, yeah, I basically just like sorted out my wardrobe. I think that's what it was called, wasn't it? My demo, like how to sort out my wardrobe. And so I took pictures of all the clothes in my wardrobe. I classified them into categories. And then I even thought about kind of building on that. And I started like walking around like retail stores and taking pictures of clothes. I don't actually know if you're allowed to do that, but it was fun anyway. And then it would basically classify them. And what I was looking for was like my in-person experience of a wish list online almost, where I could just like take random pictures and then understand kind of what was missing from my wardrobe so that I didn't buy 1,000 pairs of shoes and like no clothes basically.
Yeah,
So
oh,
yeah,
that's,
there's a place for AI everywhere, and I think that was the story I was trying to tell, right? It was like I don't need to predict the outcome of like aeroplane delays or something like that to use AI. Like it can literally be anything, as long as there's a need for it, obviously.
excellent. Yeah, that kind of leads us into our next question. Um, how did you, oh no, why do you like AI so much?
This is a really good one. So I'm gonna take a little history lesson. I'm gonna take you back a little bit. So something that I did, I went and did a computer science degree, and I find a lot of value in responsibility and learning on the job. And so during my degree, I took a year out, and I was fortunate enough to do a year's long internship at Microsoft, where I worked for Bing, Microsoft's search engine, as a technical program manager. So I worked on what you'll know as the auto suggest feature. So type into the search box, comes up with a set of what you might be typing. Lots of fun videos on YouTube about stuff like that. And it was an amazing year. Absolutely loved it. I'm still at Microsoft, so you know that was a long time ago. It just showed the culture and the type of work that was being done. But one of the key things was the amazing, passionate people at Bing that and what they were creating, like, you know, the incredible feat that a search engine is, what I see in my eyes as like the first production global scale use case of machine learning that has completely changed our lives in the 21st century. And seeing how it works behind the scenes and how we built new experiences for people that meant that they got to their answers quicker. I always found it funny that we didn't actually want them spending time on our website, which is the opposite of any other website, right? You want them to spend as much time as possible. Here we wanted them to get to their answer as quick as possible. And basically, after just seeing the big data that's sat behind it, the machine learning, the experimentation around new features, I was just absolutely hooked. And so I actually took a machine learning, the Coursera course. If anyone's seen anything that I've spoken on before, I've probably recommended it. It's a great one for the theory. And I did that whilst completing my internship. And as much as I love that learning side of things, I wonder if there's an element of passing on that knowledge, teaching a computer how to find patterns in huge amounts of data that, you know, people would struggle to do so, or it would take them a really long time to do it. There's then like the incredible math that sits behind, you know, again, that learning side, being able to understand something probably sparked me. But my all-time favorite part of AI is the analytics part, the finding the storyline in the data set. And I sometimes think when we talk about AI projects, we forget a little bit about that first step, which is to truly understand what's going on in my data, because that's the real world as well. Like if you've looked at, you know, some data, that's the actual experience of what is being collected. You know, there's other areas to that in some senses, but it is the storyline of the data set. And so I sometimes equate myself to one of my an interesting book or a TV program that I've watched, which is basically the Sherlock Holmes of data, right? I want to solve solve the mystery of what's happening there, and then be able to, I don't know, change things, or be able to build something that would help people or something like that. And so I just think AI has so much potential for you to apply your passion area in tech. So, you know, whether for me it's fashion, whether for me it's social media, you know, whatever it is, but actually apply that using technology and kind of get a really cool experience about it. So I think that's where my passion's really grown over time as well. You know, it wasn't something where I was like, I've had like an epiphany or something like that. It was slow growing. It was that learning and just building on expertise.
Yeah, we recently, for the global AI community, did an interview with I think your first manager at Bing.
Yes, I worked with Sakib Sheikh, who created the Seeing AI app. Incredible gentleman that is a phenomenal coder. And yes, he worked on, I think he was working on related search at the time. And yeah, we would spend lots of time together in the office. And I remember we did a hackathon together, and he kind of showed me some of the technology he uses, because he's blind. And yeah, again, just like learning from these amazing people that worked there and just had these phenomenal skills was a real highlight. And it is one of the reasons I work at Microsoft and continue to do so. It is one of the reasons that I work in the space of AI, I think, is that great first impression that the Bing search engine team had on me.
So now you know what time it is.
Oh, yeah.
We've done this before many times. But you're now on the other side.
I know, and do you know how nervous I am? And I used to like put people at ease, and I'm like, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. They're going to be easy questions. You haven't put my mind at ease, Henk. You haven't told me they're easy, so that's made me think they're probably pretty hard.
Yeah,
I know. No.
So cool. So we start with the first question.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Right, brace myself. Yeah, I'm ready.
What was your first computer?
Oh, I don't actually, I remember this question. I don't actually remember what the computer was. All I knew was it was one of those ones that has like a really big back on it that we don't see anymore. But I do remember that it was Windows 95 that we had on it. I've always been a Windows user. And we actually got it from my granddad. My granddad was super into tech. And he gave us our first computer. It definitely wasn't for me in the house, but I think I was probably the person who used it the most.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, Windows 95, that were good times. That were really good times.
Good times. Bit of Paint and Minesweeper.
Exactly. And when the internet was still like findable and small. Yeah,
you know, that icon was the internet, and as you said, you couldn't be on the phone at the same time, stuff like that. Now I'm sitting here while streaming live to a studio on super fast internet. Just seems a world away, doesn't it?
So next question. What are you going to skill up on next? And I will add in tech.
Yeah, in case I say like crocheting or something. In tech. So I'm working on some kind of a lot of data stuff around the language KQL, so the Kusto query language at the moment. And something I'd like to do a little bit more is dive into some of the machine learning options, some of the more like prediction options and just the analytics. So yeah, slight sort of to the left stance, because it's kind of a collaboration between big data and machine learning. I'd like to know more about how they cross over.
Last question. What programming language did you use last?
Python. It's got to be, hasn't it? Is it? Oh, or was it KQ? It might be KQL, just because I've been working on it so much. So this Kusto query language. It's going to be between the two. And it was probably pretty close. It was probably on the same day as well, if I'm honest. Python for really anything that I'm mostly working on. And then, yeah, there's just been a lot of data stuff recently that I've been looking at. So can I say both? Can I say both because
Okay.
I've helped create some of these questions?
That's good. That's okay. So that brings us already to the end of the show.
So I used to make a comment about this as well. So quick.
Very quick. So thank you so much for joining. And yeah, this season is going to be me for a while. And then hopefully next season we will have Amy back as co-host.
Yeah, going to take a little break for a while, but Henk, wonderful. Thank you for having me on as a guest. And yeah, I'm excited to see who else you have on. I'm excited to watch them.
Yes, thanks you so much for giving us an insight in like your professional life. And thanks everyone for watching or for listening to the A Bit of AI show. And next week we will be back with Priyanka. Thanks so much. Thank you so much for joining the A Bit of AI show, the show that is all about the people that work in AI. You want to receive notifications when there is a new episode? Hit the subscribe button.